Goodness comes and evil goes.
Kimungo Kumbozi, Kimungo Kumbozi, Kimungo Ukumbozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth. Karibu, welcome. My name is Kwende, and today we're going to get into another important subject, and that subject is special liberty times of year are observance times. Throughout the ages, African souls have always had special times of the year. This primary and spirit people of creation are the pioneers of what it means to have a chronological calendar, dates, times, segments of time like a month, a week, a year, and so on. In addition, and vitally so, there are also the culturally rooted times of the year that relate to the development and the cultivation of the self throughout its various levels. These are the self-cultivation seasons that go through an annual cycle, and these are observances, special times of year that remain as such, no matter what the endeavors are in life. Just as the day of the week is the day of the week, no matter what endeavor a soul might be engaged in, so too the cultural observance period is that time of year, regardless of what activity is taking place. So observances hold a special place in African life. There is a distinction between an observance period and an event celebrating the observance. The event and the observance are not the same thing. They're not on the same level. They don't hold the same substance. So at the rooted core of life is the observance period that is directly connected to spiritual and cultural fabric. An outward expression of that rootedness and that special time of year may be an event that celebrates the time. The event and the time itself are not the same thing. So whether there is an event or there is no event, that time of year still exists. And it is important to make that distinction, because if we relegate our observance periods to the level of event, then they become fragile and easily disposed of, or a temporary option, take it or leave it. For adherence to the observance is no matter what happens. Events that celebrate it are important, but they're not the time itself. As the month of May has a dual observance period, certainly in this arena, where the first observance period is focused on the development and cultivation of the liberator, by way of the observance marking the coming forth into physical being of the great hero Omowale Malcolm X. And the second observance period is to have a focus on the process of liberation by way of the Liberation Day. Both, of course, are inseparably interlinked and connected in an intimate way. But the times themselves, as are all the observances, are not events. Events may exist to celebrate the time, But that special liberty time, whether with the focus on the liberator or whether the focus on the process of liberation, is that special time and holds observant status. So with that, let's move into the realms of the program entitled Quotation Vibration. Okay, so the quotation for today is from one of my musical compositions. You may already be familiar with this CD entitled Journey of Kua. Highly recommended. Do get yourself a copy. But it's actually not from that particular compilation. It was a composition that was done many years ago through a project that I put together called the Kujenga project, Kujenga meaning build or to build. And out of that project, it no longer exists, but out of that project came a handful of recordings, one of which was a track called Black Love, a very simple piece, musically and lyrically. And the quotation comes from that, which is Black love, African love, liberation love, the love for liberation. It has a dual function in the sense that it is energizing and assertive for our engagement in the process of African liberation as liberators, but it's also reflective in the sense that there's a self-check to make sure that we are purging ourselves of alien ills and that we are not engaging in self-destructive activity, willfully so that we can be expressive of a true love for our liberty, a true love for our process of liberation, and a true love for the liberator in the self. And I will leave the link for that particular musical piece in the description. So if you want to check it out, you can do so. It is published on YouTube elsewhere, so you can find that. So with that food for thought, and surely it is food for thought, Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth.
The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top. The son who has returned home, for Africans back on top.